Speaking now with Jaret Moyer, who is the president of the Kansas Livestock Association. And Jaret, we're here at a historic time, not only with cattle prices, but with a record number of attendees.
You're absolutely right, Ken, and thanks for being here with us and with myself. And they say over 8,000 producers that have come to these meetings over this last few days to get together and talk about what's going on in the cattle industry, as well as to see the great trade show that they have here.
Well, lots of issues, and we're kind of getting right into the start of those, but a number of issues not only in D.C., but even in states that guys are concerned about, you're starting to talk about.
You're exactly right. I think one of the big issues then, just like you said, a lot of things are in the early stages yet, but one of the big tasks here is looking at the Memorandum of Understanding, or you're hearing a lot of people talk about the MOU. And what that is a document that came out from this working group that has been putting a lot of time in over the last several years looking to see how we move the beef checkoff forward. And that group has come with this Memorandum of Understanding, and what we're trying to do is really get everybody on the same page before it's taken to our legislators in D.C. and things to look at whether we can change the 85 Act. But I think the great thing there is I have told a lot of people when they've asked me about it, I said, not everything do I like about the MOU, but there's a lot of good things in it as well, and the good outweigh the few things that I might disagree, and that's good compromise. And we're hoping that with that we can maybe set an example for our folks back in our capital how things maybe ought to work.
There has been a change there, and so maybe an opportunity for some of those items of interest for the cattlemen to maybe move forward now.
You're absolutely right, and I think it's going to take some time. There's going to be a lot of a backlog that they're kind of working through back in Washington, but we do have our issues, of course, many tax issues that affect the cattlemen. Still dealing with the waters of the U.S., how that's going to play out, as well as this MOU on the checkoff.
Now we're here in Texas, but you're also looking what's going on under the dome in Topeka. Talk about with the Kansas legislature in, there's issues I'm sure that are of interest to KLA members.
There is, and everything right now is being focused in Topeka about the budget and the budget proposed shortfall coming later, and how to deal with that. And of course, as the Kansas Livestock Association, we're watching very closely how that's going to affect our members, and especially how it'll affect them possibly on property taxes.
Well, I'm sure there'll be lots of challenges, so you've got, you just kind of started running now as president of the KLA, and so I'm sure that you'll be visiting a lot of other affiliates as well and telling the story.
You're absolutely right, and one thing we'd sure encourage our members, here later in February we have our annual legislative reception. It's a great time for them to hear the updates about what's going on in their state, how it can affect them, and to visit with their legislators there. All
right, Jaret, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ken.
Jaret Moyer from Lyon County, president of the Kansas Livestock Association. That's the AgView from San Antonio. I'm Ken Rogers.